Shalom Makim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. I have my headphones in, so I don't know if brothers can hear me clearly. But I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, for allowing me to do another lesson. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. This is Job chapter 8, verse 5. If thou wouldest seek unto God betimes and make thy supplication to the Almighty, if thou wert pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. And the title of this lesson is going to be knowing you have to know your past to perfect your future. Knowing our past is very crucial, especially when it comes to making a decision to take the jab, to take the RFID chip. Okay. And as the Lord's judgment is full circle, so is his test. To where now, the test is going to be basically the Lord, in a nutshell, is going to test and see if you're ready to come off of punishment. If you learned your lesson. And because we went against our Father, our power, Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, okay, starting off all the way back to Adam and Eve, okay, when Eve followed the serpent because she was undisciplined, and Adam followed Eve. And that leads us to where we are today, to where we dying of sickness. All right, we dying at the age of 100, 110 at most, or even less than that, 80, 50, some jakes in the hood, 30, to where your life is full of travail, to whereas us so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are under our enemies today. Okay, so it says, if thou wouldest seek unto God betimes, okay, meaning to use wisdom before you go ahead and make a decision, as the brother Shar in the camp always goes into, making permanent decisions on temporary feelings. All right, and when it's all said and done, you still gonna get hurt by that. If thou were pure and upright, surely now he will awake for thee and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. If we remain disciplined, surely the Most High will give us our heart's desires. Okay? The scriptures say in Wisdom of Solomon 6, the desire of discipline leadeth to a kingdom. Okay? And we all make mistakes, but it's important. Okay. Well, this is a good one too. And I was going to say we all make mistakes, but it's very, very crucial that we learn from them. Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. Let me see. I think there was another one. Desire. I think it was a Solomon. Okay. Yeah, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love. It says, the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience, right? And when you realize our mistakes, like, let's say you're in a job and you make a mistake, whereas it would have taken you 5 minutes to do a job, it's now taking you 1 hour, because now you have to backtrack. Now you got to, redo everything. And you might have to add steps, to finish the job now. Or you do have to add steps to finish the job. So it's important that through your mistakes, because again, as I say, we are going to make mistakes. Another proverb that I heard, one of my bosses a few years back, he said, you're working because you made a mistake, because no one's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. However, it's important to learn from those mistakes. All right, so now we go back to Job 8. It says, though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end should greatly increase. For inquire, and that's what constitutes wisdom. Learning from your mistakes, really. For inquire, I pray thee, and as we just read, wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. Through this lifetime is how we obtain the kingdom, in which in the kingdom, us of the hopeful elect, all right, will be glorified. We will we will be glorified for our great wisdom. So it says, that's why this time in captivity, this time out, it sucks, but we here, so we just gotta utilize it to the best of our ability. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday. You see? And you could only reflect on something you have already done. That's why it says, we are but of yesterday and know nothing, because our days upon earth are a shadow. Shall not they teach thee, right, your former acts, and tell thee in other words out of their heart? Can the rush grow without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in his greenness and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb. So are the paths of all that forget God. Because our former acts, which is why we went into captivity under these different nations throughout centuries and centuries and centuries, was that of idolatry, was that of adultery, because we went against our husband, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. So are the paths of all that forget God, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish. And we could only hope and pray like hell that we've learned this lesson. We can only hope and pray like hell that we learn these lessons. I'm like, that we've learned from these lessons. All right, because it's coming down to the wire, to where this devil is going to come with the same old tricks. As the scriptures call him, that old serpent, the devil. All right, this devil's going to come down with the same old tricks. All right, what's that? I think that's in Revelations 20. And he laid old on the dragon, that old serpent, was just the devil and Satan. So now let's grab 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 48, which that chapter is basically talking about Esau Edom during the time of the Roman Empire. All right, when he was put into slavery or he's put down for 1,000 years during the time of is the so-called Dark Ages, which the Roman Empire was comprised of the Edomites. The Edomites, again, is that old serpent that was back in the garden. All right, pushing Israel to go against their heavenly Father through Hellenization. You know what I'm saying? And this is how he's coming today. He's pushing us to go against our power. All right, telling you to trust the science. Meanwhile, we have, we have a God that has power over life and death. All right, but again, if you don't have discipline, all right, if you don't obey the rules that is set before thee, all right, stick to one path, then you're leading a life of confusion. You're leading a life of chaos. All right, and you're eventually gonna be destroyed. All right, what did Satan say to Eve? You should not surely die. Which again, that was a man. The serpent was a man. All right, you should not surely die. God don't want you to eat of this fruit because He know that you will be as gods, knowing good and evil. Okay, which the fruit was what? Philosophies. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7 verse 48. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. And as Ezra was talking to the angel, he came to this revelation that because of what Adam did, which in this world they say, forget about slavery. That was, that was hundreds. That was just so many years ago. Meanwhile, Ezra is reflecting all the way at the time of Adam and Eve, because this wise man understood that, your past does matter. Our past does matter. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death? And that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, being most wicked, are made vain. And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly. And that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all. And that there should be shewed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever, wherein is security and medicine, since we shall not enter into it. For we have walked in unpleasant places, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed, again, committed meaning what? Past tense. Iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. All right? Meaning every time we come back, that's going to be our plight. Your iniquities of your past life. Because what people don't understand too is that your works follow you. Was that in Revelations? I can't remember it, but it speaks about how the works of the saints follow them. All right, whether it be good to life or bad to death. All right. So again, we got a very important decision to make, and it's important that we make the right one. So with that, shalom to the elect.